This is In Demand. I'm Alex James at the Etihad with Robbie Williams.
Hey, man.
In the Inner Sanctum.
In the Inner Sanctum. We are actually in Man City's home dressing room.
This is the holy turf, right?
Yes. Yeah. You're looking around now thinking, wow, no wonder they lost the league. With all the plush pleasantries of velvet curtains and all sorts. But this is actually, we've done a makeover. This
is brought in for you?
Yes, this is all brought in for me. Behind these is just wooden seats and pegs. But in front of them, this is in front of this, behind the candelabra.
2 years since you were here.
Yes.
How quickly have those 2 years gone? It's flown by, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has and it hasn't. You know, it's always one of those times going so quicker and quicker as I get older. How old are you?
Old enough to know better.
Right, but it is going a lot quicker than it used to.
It does go quickly.
Yeah, and got Baba now, so, you know, Ida was pregnant for a lot of those 2 years, and then, you know, Teddy's 9 months old now, so I've got more of a track on time because, you know, Teddy's arrived before that. I didn't even know what year it was. I still didn't know what year it is. I signed 2012 the other week.
On a check.
Yeah.
How does that work then with the family? Does everybody come on the road with you? Is it a massive sort of touring gypsy style thing?
Careful. Yes, it is. We all travel together. It's how it's going to work, you know, and for the next 5 years at least, Teddy can come with us because, you know, they don't have to settle down and go to school for 5 years. So I'm sort of more complete and feel more comfortable when they're around. So it's best that they come with me.
Does that enable you to put on a better show if you're comfortable that everybody?
Yeah. I've got. Whereas before I sort of pretended that I was really confident. Now I really have the confidence, and it must, you know, it's got to be because the family and the missus and the baby, and you know, it feels really cool.
Talk us through the process. We announced this gig, this tour, back in November. So since Christmas, what kind of things do you have to do? Who do you have to work with to get to this point where it's showtime?
Well, there's hundreds of people that get this show together. How many people are working on this show? Nearly 300 people put this show together. We're travelling with 300 people. How many lorries? 48 lorries. It's quite amazing. We're actually taking a small town around with us everywhere. And basically, you know, I came up with a set list at Christmas, sort of started working on ideas of how I wanted it to sound and bits and bobs of various entertainment show business stuff where I entertain them, for which I'm renowned. And so it's been, you know, for me, it's been ongoing since Christmas. For everybody else, it's been, you know, a year plus. Putting it all together. How
do you decide that set list? Because given the wealth of material that you've got, you want to keep people surprised, but you want to satisfy people at the same time. But you've got to be satisfied as a performer. So many people to please.
Well, the most difficult thing is replacing Let Me Entertain You at the beginning of the show.
How do you do that?
Well, how and why would you when it does what it says on the tin? You know, it's like, thou shalt start with Let Me Entertain You, thou shalt finish with Angels. I think that's how it goes, and then, you know, you work backwards from there.
So is the Tower of Robbie, I suppose, isn't it?
It is the Tower of Robbie, indeed.
Key 103.
We've spoken to some of the fans outside on their way in today, and they've just, for years, they've just followed you and seen you on your own with Take That. They've spent a fortune, and they're just devoted. I mean, how important is it for you? I suppose it's the Holy Grail to get in front of them and perform, isn't it?
Well, it's incredibly important. You know, I've in the past run myself, you know, literally into rehab, worrying about giving them a good show. You know, I've run myself silly, and all the tours that I've done, petrified that they weren't going to get their money's worth, and I think that's what led into like stage fright, because there's like 60,000 people looking back at you each evening. Is quite a responsibility, even though you think they know all the songs and you're just going to get up there and sing. It's a bit more than that. It's all about the projection and the entertainment and and also really not being able to understand why they've turned up. Because I don't get gigs myself. I don't go to gigs. I don't enjoy them. I don't understand them. But so then I've got 55,000 people that do, and you're like, well, how do you do this for these people? And lots of them have travelled from Brazil. People have spent all their savings for the year to come and see me at a couple of gigs. People have travelled for 15 hours, 24 hours from Australia to get here to see the show. And it's like there's an amalgamation of 55,000 people with that amount of pressure coming back at me going, oh my Lord, I better be Elvis, Bono, Presley, Jackson. And it does, it can tip you over the edge a bit with that responsibility.
Yeah.
And but to be honest now, I sort of bit of a wiser, older head on my shoulders, and all the beautiful people are outside waiting to come in. Now, there's a lot of people that have been waiting there for hours and hours and hours. I have a responsibility to them, but I'm not going to let it take me to rehab.
On your blog and stuff over the course of the year so far, you were talking about how you've been healthier, what you've been doing to change your lifestyle and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You're in a fit place right now.
Well, Ida got pregnant. I still don't know who by. Such a... And instantly I stopped smoking, so those 3 packs of cigarettes a day out the window. Started eating healthier, trying to get to sleep, because I keep musician hours, and musician hours are basically night hours. I'm known as Night. I'm sure you can't put that out on your radio, but that's what I'm known as. Trying to be more in sync with the rest of the world. I just treat myself a bit better, because I do have a responsibility to this beautiful little soul that looks up at me with the most loving eyes and the biggest smile, and she is out to gush, but she has you had me at she has completed me, as cheesy as that sounds. And I have a responsibility to be there for her 100% physically, spiritually, and emotionally. And I have a tendency to take myself off-roading with all of those 3 things. I can't do that anymore. I try my best to see the last whimpers of it out, but I'm a lot more healthier because of my little girl.
And does that involve a 2-hour warm-up every night when you're on tour?
Oh yeah, well we just did 5 laps around the pitch here, and then we stretch for 20 minutes. Then I'm going to have a massage. That's an hour and a half's worth. Then we do a sort of vocal thing, then have a shower, shave, makeup. So I'm in the flesh, I'm not that beautiful. So we need makeup these days, and then have my hair done. Preparation, then I'm stretching again, preparation for the show, probably take 3 hours, and then there's the show. So it's a 5-hour thing.
Still struggle, I would imagine you have done in the past, when you come off such a high doing these shows, to then get to sleep.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's it's of a normal evening, I probably don't get to sleep until 4 anyway, and then with the adrenaline and whatnot going through my system, with people screaming at you, and me enjoying them and them enjoying me, hopefully, it can take you through until the next day, and birds are chirping, and you start to panic because you've got to do it again that evening. It's 8 o'clock and you're like, oh, please go to sleep. I don't want to watch Jeremy Kyle again. And I definitely don't want to see loose women. I want to be asleep for loose women.
That's the curse of being in the UK, I suppose, isn't it? The stuff with Dizzy has been amazing.
Yeah.
I have to ask, what comes after the tour? What's in the diary? What's the plan?
There is nothing.
It's clear.
It's clear. There's another album coming out, but I can't say much about it. I say now to say now.
Because there's going to be a live album of the tour, isn't there?
You can get it every night.
And is it unique to each show as well? That's amazing. Thank you very much for letting us in the Inner Sanctum.
Cheers.
Thank you for the live hour as well. If you find chance to thank and say hello to everybody listening on the radio tonight, I'm sure they would appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Listen, thank you for sticking around and having a listen to the show. I hope you can come out and see us live, hopefully, at some point. If not, here's the next best thing.
It's amazing. Robbie, thank you.
Cheers.